Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Total chaos. The curse of the game number 6. Words cannot describe the excitement I have from this World Chess Championship match. Game number 6. Let's go. Have you ever been to London? Capital of Great Britain. My favorite city. Wish I could go there one day. Game number 6 between Ian Nepomniachtchi and Ding Liren has started with the London system. What a surprise. I'm taking you to London today. d4, knight f6, knight f3, d5, bishop f4. An ultimate truth about London system in chess is that it's for amateurs. It is considered dead for professionals. And if we want to connect the dots, another interesting fact is that Ding Liren on the press conference said that he wasn't sure until the very late moment what to play in today's game. Now, how can that be possible? You are arriving to the World Chess Championship match. You are expected to have at least 14 or maybe even 21 openings for white ready because you have 7 games and every time you have to choose because the tournament situation is different. c5, e3, knight c6. After knight bd2, c takes d4, e takes d4, bishop f5. Already right here, after move 6, where Ian played this bishop f5 and Ding started to think on his own. Let me remind you that in the game 5, Ding Liren already lost and the score coming to today's game was 3-2, where Ian was the favorite. So Ding needed to strike back. Now, as we know in this World Chess Championship match, unlike in any other one, and that's why the reason I put the title for the previous game recap was the best match in the history. Do you agree with that or not? We have never seen so many decisive games. Not that I'm going to spoil you what's happening today, but Ding understands that if he wants to catch Ian, it's now or never with white pieces. Move number 6, what to do? Ding decides to go with the most solid approach. Another interesting fact that we know is that both players are complete opposites, whereas Ian is like a cold-blooded killer, and Ding Liren, he's squeezing, slowly torturing his opponents. Ding decides to go into the position that will be super solid, super long term, where he will not be doing any mistakes and not taking any responsibilities. c3, e6, bishop b5. When I play this position, bishop b5 for me is kind of not very clear. Like, okay, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna explore this spin? Use the fact that the bishop is on f5 and the pawn is on a6, so the bishop cannot come to d7? What's the point of putting the bishop on b5? Indeed, the pin is not dangerous, and we need to understand that. But where do we keep the bishop? We cannot go to d3, and on e2 is passive. So in fact, it's some kind of like nice for now, but it's not the final destination for the bishop. It's a bit out of place for me, but we will see in the game if that was proven the point. Bishop d6. I really like bishop d6 because it trades the strongest piece of white. Really good move. Now bishop takes d6, queen takes d6. If you look at this position, black is having a dream, an ultimate dream, because black has 0 bad pieces. One thing I do have to say, and that's probably before we dive any deeper, the game number 6 is cursed. You're wondering, Dina, why did you put this in the title? What is Harry Potter doing on this thumbnail? Let me remind you what happened in the World Chess Championship 2021 between Ian Nepomniachtchi and Magnus Carlsen. Do you remember that 8-hour game? Do you remember the result of that game? Do you remember how much went right after that game? Now let me ask you a question. How many historical World Chess Championship matches do you know where the game number 6 was a turning point? I want your answers in the comment down below. Short castle, rook e1, h6. Both opponents finished the development so far. h6 is a nice window move, avoiding, the mate by the last rank. You sure that it's avoiding? And preparing the bishop, if the knight comes and attacks the bishop, who knows, could be dangerous. Knight e5, nice move going to the center. One more thing that I have to tell you about this position is its structure. I bet by now you already know the name of this structure. Yes, exactly. Carlsbad. Who the hell is Carl and why is he bad? Do you remember Andrea Botis, who, by the way, yesterday did a phenomenal fight against Michelle Carré? Have you watched that one? We had a very long watch party on our Twitch channel. Knight e7, a4. Carlsbad structure. So far, the plans for Carlsbad structure are minority attack for the one who has less pawns, which is here black. Minority attack for these ones, pushing the pawns, creating the weakness either on c3 or on d4 or on b2 or altogether. I mean, altogether not possible. Usually it's either d4 and b2 in case if c takes b4 and then let's say rook takes b4, attacking both, right? Or if it's white doesn't do anything, that once the pawn goes to b4 and then we take on c3, pawn takes, and then we attack the pawn. The best plans for black here are, you remember that we already had Carlsbad structure, colors reverse, where Ding was playing black and holding the draw right after his first loss. And many experts said that Ding Liren understood the Carlsbad better. So that might have been the reason why Ding Liren decided to go to Carlsbad today. So the plans for black here, where the side that has more pawns on the king side, is to prepare f6 and d5. This is like the most ambitious plan. Plans for white. Of course, you explore the outpost on e5, and the best, I mean, the ideal option would be to push it to f5, to trade to e6, and same, create one of the sides of the weaknesses, either on e6 if we take, or on d5 and f7. White has plenty of options. White can also try to attack, or simply do what white did in this game, which is preventing black from doing anything. And that's why we see this move a4. In fact, in this position, if you look precisely, you realize that black has zero plan. Zero plan for black, because neither f6 and d5 nor a6 and b5 are possible. No minority attack, no pushing for the central pawns. What to do? a6, kicking out the bishop. Do you remember I said that the bishop on b5 wasn't doing much? Well, here's the nice trick. Finally, when the rook is on e1, bishop can retreat to f1. You will tell me, but isn't bishop bad on his starting position? No, he's good when the rook is out, and the king is safe, and the rook is out. So bishops already play strongly from their final position, from their standing position. Bishops are half-developed pieces. For half-developed piece, he's doing a great job, even from being from his, spot, f1, if he's not disturbing any other piece. And here it's not the case because the rook is already out. Knight d7, another dubious move. Spoiler, Ian Nepomniachtchi did criticize a lot his moves in this game. Knight d7, knight takes d7, queen takes d7, a5. Oh, and yeah, no evil bar. Do you want an evil bar? Well, I'll have to see that in the comments, because so far so forth, people have been preferring no evil bar, to keep the tension of the results. a5, queen c7. I really love the a5 move because it completely blocks and says like, okay, you pawns forever muted. It's just like, click the mute button. You know when someone is annoying? Queen f3, rook fc8. Black is trying to do something, but in obviously no plan, just standing in the same spot. Rook a3. Let's see how white improves. Bishop g6, knight b3. Knight b3, I love this move because it's going for the outpost. c5. Knight c6, queen g3, saying, I'm fine with endgame. Or is that the same with the youth to the endgame? It's funny, yeah? You would not expect Ding Liren treating Ian Nepomniachtchi like that. But queen e7. Ian understands the danger of the endgame here. Not because he's young, but h4. Magnificent way of playing, saying, well, first of all, remember the crab? You push the both pawns. In any solid position, wherever you can, it's good to push the side pawns because you create space. You create potential passed pawn in the endgame. h4. Maybe h5 somewhere, maybe not. Rook e8 in front of the queen and the pawn. There must be only one idea behind. We gotta push e5. Otherwise, putting the rook like that is super ugly. Rook should never stand in front of the pawns that are not going to move. Knight c5. The outpost is mine, girl. Whoa, e5. Things are getting spicy. Okay, the truth is Jan actually tries with black pieces here to do something, just something. Jan has zero patience. We all know that. We saw that. The curse of the game number 6. We all saw that. Jan has no patience and therefore he needs to push. Rook b3. This justifies the weird maneuver of the rook on a3 because now we attack. Knight takes a5. But wait, Did we just blunder a pawn? Hell no. We're going for the initiative. Rook takes e5. One would say trading a5 pawn versus e5 pawn is not that clear, but e5 is a central pawn, and a5 is the pawn of the side. Indeed, the pawn of the side that was blocking the whole queen side. But, I mean, as long as we're attacking b7, we're pretty fine. Queen f6, rook a3. Uh-oh. Did I say that it was fine because we were attacking the b7? No, actually, we're still attacking it. See? Rook attacks the knight, which protects the pawn, and then the knight attacks the pawn. So after knight c4, the only move, we go bishop takes c4, thank you for the knight, b takes c4, and the b7 is gonna fall. Slight intermediate, h5. Did I tell you about the importance of pushing the pawns? I mean, honestly, this much so far, the lessons that we learned, pushing the side pawns, sacrificing exchanges when it's justified for the activity of this minor piece and the pacification, passive voice, you tell me, of the rook, and pushing the pawns from the king can be justified, can be fine. Remember the g4 and the g5 moves? Bishop c2 happened in the game, and knight b7. And now, what happened after all this trade is that black still has weaknesses. a6 is a weakness, c4 is a weakness, bishop is okay, but he can go to d3. But what else? What does he attack? Whereas white has a perfect pawn chain, super strong pawn structure. I mean, did I already emphasize that those pawns, a6 and c4, are weaknesses? Amazing outpost on the e5. Amazing space advantage with the help of the h5 pawn. I mean, it's a dream. It's a living dream. Queen b6, by the way, double attack. And really nice tactical motive. Knight d6 saying, come here, sweetheart, take the knight. Let me teach you the Botes gambit. Rook takes e8, check. Rook takes e8. Thank you for the queen. Not happening in the game, obviously. Rook takes e5. Queen takes e5, queen b2. All right, what's happening with the pawn chain? And here comes the only move. I mean, the only move that gives advantage, but also, like, it's the move. What are you gonna do? You're gonna keep your rook so passive around the pawn? No, you're gonna bring it up. Rook a5. Final moment in the game where black could actually fight for the equality. Okay, here, everybody, just slow down. Take a moment of appreciation for the fact that black can equalize. Right now, I'm not joking, black can equalize. King h7 happened in the game. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me what's happening after knight f7, because I will tell you it's queen c3 then. And you will tell me, okay, and what's next? And I will tell you, you know, chess. The best option for white would have been queen e1, protecting the pawn on c3. Good? Yes. Because it's the base of the pawn on d4. d4 is protected past pawn. Instead, rook c5 comes the mistake. And in this position, black has an opportunity to equalize, which is queen takes c3. Now, if you ask me what's the difference with knight c7, knight f7 again, then I'll tell you, I'm gonna improve my bishop, protect the pawn. And if you're gonna go for my king, rook c7, thinking that you're gonna mate me after knight g5 and queen g7, I'm gonna tell you, I offer a draw, queen c1. I don't agree, king h2. You don't agree? Then take my rook. Knight g5 doesn't work because queen takes g5 protects the g7. Yummy, rookie. I want the rookie. Well, I offer a draw. Queen f4. Check. King g1. I refuse. Queen c1. I insist. King h2. I refuse. Queen f4. Arbiter. Arbiter! 3 times repetition. I claim draw. Knight f7 in this position would have been not enough. There is this move, rook f8, attacking the knight. If check, then thank you. Joke. Knight goes back, and then queen b1. This is not what white wants. White needs to convert the advantage here. White needs simply protect the pawn. Just protect the pawn, okay? And then you're gonna do it, because black is too passive. This pawn is a passed pawn, but it's not advancing. The knight is super strong, and I already told you, the bishop is beautiful, but it's not doing anything. Black pawns on the queen side are super passive, whereas white pawns are dream pawns, plus the king. So here white plays for the protected passed pawn. For super active pieces, and for the king. See, if you compare, every single piece is better. I mean, queen is better because it covers both queen side and king side. Knight is better because it creates attacks on the c4 and the f7 and on all the position. Rook is better because it controls the half of the board, whereas the a8 rook, okay, we all know that in the endgame where you have the passed pawn, keep the rook behind, not in front. But we're not in the endgame yet. We are in the endgame actually, but it's a complicated endgame. Here the activity of the rook is more important. And the pawns are better. So every single detail, and the king, this king safety, every single detail for white is better. Unfortunately, after having thought for 10 minutes, Ian does not go for c3. Instead, he replies with queen c1 check, king h2, and there goes another mistake. It would have been the best to try to push the pawn with a5 and say, okay, this is the only chance to do something. And here goes f6. After f6, we play queen g3. And the mate is coming. a5, knight c4, thank you for the pawn. The thing is here is that after the moment black doesn't capture the c3, he's gonna lose the c4. There is no way that c4 is gonna be protected. You understand that, right? Yes, you do. 2 attacks, 1 defense. So f6, queen g3, a5, knight takes c4, a4, knight e3, regrouping the pieces, bishop b1, rook c7. No, we are not afraid for the passed pawn because we're attacking the mate, and the mate is more important than the extra queen. Rook g8, protecting the pawn. Knight e5, saying, I'm coming after you. Knight f6 is a threat. King h8, only move because we don't want the pin, we don't want knight f6. Rook a7. Rook a7 is a genius thing. a3, we do not care about the passed pawn. We don't care because we gotta go for the king. Knight e7, attacking the rook, rook f8, d5. What's the idea behind this mysterious d5? Does white really want to promote? Come on, 1, 2, 3 moves to promote, whereas 1, 2. Black is so much faster. What's the idea behind d5? Explain to me. I don't understand that. a2, I'm gonna promote. I'm going for the queen. Queen c7. We don't want to promote. We want the king, the lord. Well, the threat is knight g6, attacking the king, and then queen g7 and mate. So king h7. No time for the queen. Knight g6, attacking the rook. Rook g8, queen f7. Believe it or not, black resigns. Ian Nepomniachtchi loses the game number 6. The curse of the round number 6 is all following Ian. Roles have reversed yet again. Insane match. So many resultative games. Every player keeps striking with white pieces. We have never seen that in the history of World Chess Championships, at least 21st century. On the press conference, right after the match, Ian admits that this has been the worst game he ever played. And when the follow-up question comes, but what's the reason behind it? Is that pressure? Is that, Ian says, yes, it is the pressure. It was quite a tough game.
Clearly, it wasn't supposed to happen because I think I just mixed up lines quite badly.
Postscriptum, what's the threat? Well, if we take on c3, mate in 4, you ready? You pause the video, you resume the video, let's go. Thank you for the rook. Take my queen. Thank you for the queen. Taking your queen. Rook e8. But I'm going out. Rook f8. Checkmate. And yes, exactly. You got me. d5 pawn. Here we go. The d5 pawn. That was the reason. It's totally insane. Imagine the guy, he calculated all this through. Back when he was playing rook a7. Remember that moment? Back here when he was playing rook a7, preparing all this mating at knight e7 and d5. Thank you for watching. Looking forward for more action in the World Chess Championship match.